Hi, I'm here to do a quick unboxing and then a play demo for Get to the Quarantine Zone for the Kickstarter demo. When you open the box, you'll see there are many parts. First, take note of the box top. Nice and pretty artwork all the way around. There's even artwork on the back. When you open the box, you'll see several decks of cards. The loot decks are one, it's just there's so much of them. It takes 2 bags. Then you have your zombie deck, your mission card deck. You'll have a nice bag full of tokens, dice, counter clip, 2 blood drops for counting with as well. Standard without any backer upgrades on there. You'll have 9 character mats to come with it. Each are unique, have their own art on the back. Real nice and fancy. And then you'll have the actual camp, which also has a little bit of nice art on the back as well. And so this is what comes in your kit starting off with. And this is before any additional stretch goals or backer rewards additional. This is just the base kit. It is complete with everything you'll need to play Get to the Quarantine Zone. And we really hope that you'll like all of the really touched up professional features on there. So back away. Okay, we're going to go through a quick playthrough of the campaign of Get to the Quarantine Zone. Right now we have 3 players, and which is the minimum to play. With 3 players, you will have a little bit of extra difficulty, but this is adjusted by the camp setting here. There's a counter on the camp which tells you how many extra zombies that you need to add to each mission that has zombie draws. This is enhanced by every single round you take. You move the blood token up 1. With 3 players, you start at 0 and move your way up through more missions. So the incentive being to finish missions faster and get your total number of parts needed. You always need 5 parts per player. So in this case, we need 15 parts. It sounds simple enough, but it can actually be quite challenging. You count your parts by moving the clip that comes with it up the part counter on the right-hand side. You get parts by completing the missions. So the way that the single player rounds start is that somebody takes point. For the sake of the demo, I will take point. This is notated by using the blood drop. And when you pick your characters, which each one of us have our own character selected, what you're going to end up doing is make sure that you have all of the, if it comes with any loot, that you have all of that. He needs a revolver, and there was one right there. So I have that. Other characters would have their own respective items if they have them. All of them have their own skills and abilities, which are very useful throughout the game. For the sake of the demo, we're just going to go ahead and start. You have to declare who's starting the mission, which is myself. The person starting the mission takes the required people that they feel they need. Since we're such a small group, I'm going to say that all 3 of us really do need to go on this mission just for safety's sake. And of course you can always debate that out amongst your people. You can run multiple missions in a round, which is nice, especially in larger groups. It helps you kind of get through the game a little quicker, especially considering if you have 6 people at 5 parts, you need 30 parts, and missions range anywhere from usually around 1 to 5 or 6 parts. So when you draw the mission, you read out loud the text on there. There's a little bit of flavor text usually, and then also tells you what to do. And there should be an image popping up on the screen here showing you what the mission cards look like. So this one here is called a Find How Do You Do. It requires at least 3 players. We have 3 players, so we can do this. You are walking on a routine patrol of the camp area, and a man with a caravan rides up to you. He notices your gear, asks where you are camped, and grins quite suspiciously. Something seems wrong, and you deny him. He tugs a rope, and suddenly the caravan opens up, zombies pour out of the vehicle, and the man rides off laughing. Fight to the death. So in this case here, when we've read all the text and gone through everything, we follow suit with the instructions on the card. and you'll see this again on your screen. The Z tells you how many zombies that you need to draw. The wagon wheel tells you how many parts you're going to earn upon completion, and the cash symbol is how much loot you're going to get. This game is definitely generous with the loot, and you definitely want as much as you can handle. So, the way the round would start is we now know that we have to fight zombies, and we're drawing 5 zombies. So, the way it works is starting with the person who's taken point, you draw a zombie for them. Take note to what's on the zombie card. Some zombie cards have what's called a horde setting, which means you keep drawing until you get one that does not say horde, and it still counts as the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that draws 5. Now, if our token had been further up the ladder on, like, say, the orange area or any of the red area, we would draw an additional zombie per point, or per number on there. So again, like I said, it's very fortuitous to beat the game quick as possible. So what we end up doing is starting again with the player that's taken point. You fight your zombies. You pick your zombie that you want to fight, and in this case I have a revolver, and the revolver gives me the ability not only to shoot better or fight better based on the roll of my dice, but on top of that as well, I can also shoot over them, and if a comrade in need requires additional assistance, I can shoot over the zombies. If with melee weapons or with punching, you have to finish what's on your plate first before assisting anybody else. However, with melee you can combo, and that's something I really would want you to learn about when you read the manual. But essentially it works like this. You pick your target, you get 2 standard actions. One of them can be an assault. If you have 2 weapons, 2 can be an assault. Or you can use a skill. In this case here, I don't have a skill that is applicable, but I would roll. I rolled a 6, which is great because you need a 5 or a 6 to kill to do a damage to a zombie. 6 is explode, so you roll again. There's another 6. This never happens. And 1. So I got 2 damage to my zombie. We'll just say that we're going after this one here on the left. Now he only has 2 damage points, so actually I would kill him. Use these really neat little tokens. I don't know if you can see them. I'll probably pop one up on this display. But use these really neat little tokens to denote damage or anything that requires a point. So I kill the zombie. Certain zombies have benefits. Again, I'm sure you can't read this. This one has what's called reek, and benefits them where you'd roll dice, and if you get a 5 or a 6, in this case you got a 5, you draw another zombie to replace it, but it's only on certain zombies. Before we got over to him, I should have noted the zombies get a chance to attack me. So rolling for the zombie at 2 doesn't hit me. Rolling for the zombie at 6 does. So yeah, so I would take a point of damage. I would get a tombstone on my character. Your characters have life listed on it. You'll see that on the screen as well. You have as many points as you can take. You can take up to that number plus 1. That's the fatal hit. And that's basically how you do that. So once all the zombies are cleared, we get our parts. We would move up the part ladder to space number 4. We would get 3 loot. So you draw 3 loot cards. We get a lantern, a lasso, some lead slugs. None of us have a shotgun, so the lead slugs isn't going to do us any good. But you hold all your loot here at camp, the stuff that you're not going to use. And you can get 2 loot stored at the camp per player, and again you can sort through it. So you can kind of see really quickly how getting loot, killing zombies, using the character's weapons, things like that can really speed things up for you. The other thing is with it is it gets really difficult when you're adding on so many extra zombies. Some of the missions also are not so simple as just fight. Some of the missions have you actually make choices, so you have to do you just go through a dilemma, something that would make you make a moral choice, and by the time you've made your moral choice, you may have to, by getting what's called a karma point, you may have to forcibly move the dot further up. So even though at the end of the round you would still normally move that up, you may have moved it up because you've made some pretty awful choices. So the game is definitely heavy on choice in that way, and that's the basic turn by turn. Once we've reached 15 parts on there, then we fight the boss battle, which is this guy. He's the toughest of all zombies. I know, again, you can't really see that on the screen. Plus the number of zombies that we have accrued up here. So if it's taken us a particularly long time, we've gotten all the way up here where we're doing 5 zombies per round, it would be this guy plus 5. additional zombies. But that's the essentials of how to play Get to the Quarantine Zone. It gets a little bit more depth than that. There's definitely a lot more teamwork, a lot more playing involved. But that's the basic step-by-step on how to play Get to the Quarantine Zone campaign mode. All right, so we're going to show you how to play Get to the Quarantine Zone survival mode. Survival mode is very different than campaign mode. There are no missions. Loot is something that you actually decide on what you want up front. So you have the option of going through, and if you want like a satchel, which gives you extra loot spots, if you want say a shotgun and a revolver, you figure out basically all of the different parts that you want off the bat. You load up your character, and once you've chosen all your character's parts and pieces and everything that you want, of course, pick your character wisely. Teamwork is really going to count in this version. We're no longer going for parts. We're going for basically to survive as long as that we can. So it starts off this way here. You move your dot to the 1 position. In the 1 position means that you draw 1 zombie. You take the other blood dot and you give it to the person who starts off on point. They get the zombie. It would now be her turn to fight that zombie. She got a 5, does damage to it. It's not dead. It gets a turn. You roll for its damage. It's a 1. It flubs it. Moves over to me. Now, before we draw any more zombies, it's my turn. So we go around the table. And since I don't have any zombies in front of me, I can easily just openly attack melee, or I have guns, so I can shoot over there. 3, I have, with my revolver, a +1, which only gives me a 4. I do have a second weapon, which is a shotgun, which allows me to roll 2 dice, take the best thereof, but again, neither one is a 5 or a 6. I have missed both shots. Goes over to my man, rolls a 2. So no one's doing too great. At this point, since it's gone around the table, the dot would come to me. We'd move the other dot up, the blood drop, and I get 1 zombie. It now becomes her turn again. She fights her zombie, and again, it goes back and forth. 6 explodes. So you've got 2 damage on it. It gets its turn. And so you can see how it goes around the table. So he has 5. Does he hit on a 5? He hits on a 6. So yeah, so he failed. So yeah, so it keeps going around the table like that, and it keeps adding on and on. So you really want to clear your zombies out as quick as possible, because even with as little as 1, you can see where it starts to build up. Then when you move on to 2, 3, 4, 5, it just keeps adding on as this blood droplet moves around the table. With 3 people, it is a bloodbath. You are going to get slaughtered pretty quickly, so choose your characters wisely, load up good. This is a great way to play with a lot of friends to get moving. You're not encumbered by playing through some lengthy missions. It can be a really fast game, or it can really drag out. Again, if you get to the very end, and there's a very good chance you will not get to the end, I've got a zombie dog in here. If you get to the very end, you'll fight the Blight Beast with the 6 others, and the game is won. If you get that far, email me. Trust me, you won't make it there. And that's basically Get to the Quarantine Zone. It's very simple. The loot is what makes it so deep. It allows you to really change the customization of your character. The character's skills come into a great factor. Certain characters, like his is a medic. Hers can one-hand any weapon. There are some weapons that are two-handed, like my shotgun. My guy has leadership skills. I can pull the red dot of blood from anybody and take over as leader. So you have a lot of choices, a lot of things you can do, and you have 6 other characters inside the box that you can choose from. So you really don't run out of options as far as how to play. It's never the same game twice. But that's Get to the Quarantine Zone. Back big. Thank you.